AskReddit by PMME. A grocery list. What movie is totally stupid or makes no sense, but people act like it's really deep? The Secret. Like Brian Griffin's masterwork, wish it, want it, do it. According to Elaine Bennis, The English Patient. Enjoy sacked lunch. Eat, Pray, Love. The book was somehow worse. In this thread, people who are confused by the question. There seems to be the belief that appreciating a move is the same thing as it being deep. Do I just not understand what deep means? Because aside from The English Patient, none of the top answers in this thread are widely considered deep. Hell, American Sniper is near the top and it's about as deep as a bird bath. The way I interpret ARP's question and the title is that these movies aren't necessarily deep but people act like they are, perhaps to justify their liking of an otherwise stupid movie. So with that understanding, you will see responses with movie titles that aren't actually that deep, and that answers ARP's question. Crash the Racist One, not the car sex one. It's an after-school special someone took too seriously. Into the Wild. I cried when I watched it 10 years ago because he killed himself by being selfish and foolish. Alaskans can't stand the glorification of this story. Lots of tourists come up here with outlandishly disrespectful attitudes toward nature, then die. This story embodies it pretty well. If you want to get flamed, come to the Alaska sub and say you want to live off-grid, only please don't do that because we get some variation of that post almost daily. Edit. Whoa, I kicked a nest of some kind. Some defensive comments seem to be responding to a perceived slight on his intelligence or character. I only said we're bothered by the disrespect. It's disrespectful to enter nature objectively unprepared. He inspired hundreds, at least, to follow in his footsteps. My husband is a rescue patroller. The people who need rescue aren't malicious or noble. I wouldn't call this guy a horrible or an amazing person. Hence, back to the theme. This movie is not that deep. I don't know, but this https://www.reddit.com/r/movies/s/z4vbf6m89 closed bracket comment did not age well. Vote for Camacho 2024. https://yahoo.be/_rgg1ayf4ki?SISD0agacfmu9q Lucy. That shit is utter trash, no matter what the Rotten Tomatoes score says. A piano has 88 keys, but we only use a few of them at a time. Imagine the music you could play if you could use 100% of the piano. I feel Donnie Darko was made for this question. OP said earlier it was the inspiration for this question, lol. The Butterfly Effect. It spends 100 minutes on pseudo-philosophical nonsense and 10 minutes of Deus Ex Machina type fluff. I left the theater hating it. Still mad 20 years later. There was a scene that traumatized me in that movie, but I seem to have blocked most of it out. I think it's something about puppies. Something bad happening to puppies. Pulp Fiction. Garden State. Everyone was obsessed with it in high school and college. I've seen it numerous times and have no idea what the plot is. Just enjoy the shins. You guys are just naming movies you don't like. Is this your first time on Reddit? Donnie Darko. I thought it was very deep. Like Donnie's rant about the Smurfs. What's the point of living if you don't have a dick? People are really struggling this assignment. People don't act like it's really deep, but I've seen a lot of people talk about how the first Now You See Me has a great twist, but the twist straight up doesn't make any sense. It comes out of nowhere and not in a good way. The whole movie doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be a movie about stage magicians doing a heist, which sounds cool. Except they're not really stage magicians. They inexplicably have actual magical powers and the movie tries to pass it off as sleight of hand. Just some incredible films here. If you tell me that No Country for Old Men or Arrival or 2001 are stupid and make no sense, you haven't told me anything about those films, but quite a bit about you. No Country for Old Men is an absolutely great film, but I've never found it particularly hard to understand. Hell, Tommy Lee's final monologue pretty much sums it all up to anyone who paid attention to it beyond the surface action. And now I want to go rewatch it this week. Man, the cinematography is absolutely amazing. Most of the movies mentioned in here aren't even thought of as deep and complex by most people. Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko. Inception. Guys, you don't get it. It was a dream. Within a dream. Within a dream. Hoa. You think it's not deep because you missed a within a dream. The Tree of Life. Painful to get through that mess of a movie.